Airdrie will find it pretty difficult, I think, obviously, to step up. Although they've done well in the Via play, they've added that Nikolai Todorov, haven't they, the centre forward. They've got a mix of the youth, and I think the managers went out and got a couple of boys on loan for St Mirren as well. Last season, they were a gimme for over 2.5 goals. And teams could score against them as well. They've a lot of goals in all their games. The step up might be a bit difficult for them. But I think I'm not going to say they're going to set the place on fire or whatever. I think they'll do okay. I think they'll just cement their place in the league this season. Dick Campbell's always got something up his sleeve, especially up at Gayfield. It's a very, very difficult place to go and try and get any points, especially when you go into the winter, playing up in Arbroath with the sea coming over the stands and things. So they've added again as well, but they are quite an experienced side. I was very surprised the way the season ended for them last year. Dipu Akinyemi, 20-odd goals. Obviously thinking that playing against Partick Thistle in the first leg, I actually done a game for PLZ Soccer, one each at Firhill. He scored the equaliser. I was thinking going into the playoffs, he would be the difference. But unfortunately for Ayr, in the second leg, he gets sent off. It's whether Ayr United can replace a guy with that many goals this season. They need to keep Eden McGiddy fit as well. That's a fantastic sign if he can play. And of course, Jamie Murphy. So they'll be supplying the ammunition for whoever it is that's playing up top end. And you'll see a kind of a recurrence to me saying things about top end. I think it's very important this season that teams get guys in that can score goals. And we'll talk a bit about that later on. But Ayr United, decent side. Everybody likes going down to Somerset Park and playing. Surface is always good. Lee Bullen's got a couple of guys on loan as well for lower leagues that have come up to Scotland. And I think they'll find it pretty decent. I think they'll like it, especially playing down there. So I'm expecting the same as last season for Ayr United, although they went out with a whimper with Partick Thistle at the end of last season. This is the big question. Dundee United, Jim Goodwin not got off to the best of starts. The Viaplay League Cup, the fans were calling the players whatever. The Spartans done the business against them, a team that came up for the Lowland League. I think if you're coming down for the Premiership, you have to go out and win your first few games. I think Dundee United will be there or thereabouts this season. They've made a good signing, Declan Gallagher at the back to shore up a defence. I also think Louis Moult, if he stays fit, he can bang in the goals. So they've got a decent side of experience and youth. But if they aren't there round about the end of September into October, I can see the fans getting restless, and you know what that leads to. So they have to go out, they have to go take the game, they have to win on Friday, they have to keep winning at home, and they have to get the fans behind them because everybody expects them to bounce straight back. And that's not easy in this championship. I think it's a lack of signings, really. I know there's a few ins and outs, but I don't really notice anybody that's come in of significance. Michael Hanglerin for St Johnstone, who, for me, likes the ball played over the top. I don't know what James's tactics are going to be this season. Maybe he's relying on a bit of pace up the top end of the park, but he is definitely a decent signing. I heard him saying the other day there after a Viaplay League Cup win that he didn't have enough talkers on the park, enough experience. Benedictus will do that for them. So, you know, I think they'll do okay. I'm not saying they're going to set the league on fire, but I think with the support behind them, and if they get a decent result, they can build a lot of confidence. And if you can get another couple of people in the door, then I think it will help them. And when you look at this league this season, there's nobody screaming out. This league isn't a league where teams win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. They'll win one, maybe two, and then obviously draw and get beat a couple because they can all beat each other. And Morton are one of the teams. So I just feel as if teams will find it difficult to go down there, but they're not a team that really excites me. And every time you went down to Capello anyway, it was always raining. So that doesn't really help much either. But you know, Dougie's a good young manager. I think he got them really, really well organised. They might be able to shock a few teams, but there's a few teams in the league like Morton, and I just don't think they'll reach that top 4 this season. Inverness are one of the teams that are pretty inconsistent for me. They're not consistent enough. I know they've been through difficult times in the last couple of seasons, but as you said, getting to that final. Billy Dodds does well with them. I think he can attract some decent players up there. I think they've got a young boy on loan for. I've signed a young boy for Liverpool, I believe. But last season as well, I just thought they fell away. I just thought they were weak at times when they should have been on and progressed. And I think they'll just be the same again this season. I don't think they're going to be up there challenging. Run about the mid-table to the playoffs, but I can't see them even getting into the playoffs this season, so I think they'll find it pretty difficult. Partick Thistle obviously lost, as you said, and I said, Ross Docherty, their captain. There's a couple moved on. They're giving youth a chance, but they've still got the talisman. They've still got Brian Graham up top. They've got Aidan Fitzpatrick on the wing. I really like him. I think he's a fantastic player. And for me, they've got the best player in the division in Stephen Lawless. So they've got a great threat going forward. I think they're brilliant at Firhill. They really surprised me in the playoffs last year. I thought they were actually going to do it. And as we mentioned earlier on, the collapse in the last 10, 15 minutes was unbelievable. So can they recover for that? I think they've started really well. They were up and showed Dundee United that Dundee United are only going to get it their own way when it comes to the league this season. So yeah, if Brian Graham can stay fit, if these guys can provide the ammunition for him, I don't see any reason why they can't be up there. So they're one of the teams that I'm looking for to replicate what they've done last season and get into the top four. I believe they're using this player data system. I don't know if anybody's heard about that, where they look at the players, they look at how they are, during the week, how they're adapting to the training, how they adapted against the opponents the last time they played against them. I think that goes into the player selection. I think this coach is using that. I'm also thinking that he's the one, obviously, that gets told the players that are going to be available and then sets out the tactics for that game. So it's something that I didn't think a Scottish team would ever use. I believe that's what they're using this season. But my only argument with that is, a data system doesn't tell a centre forward how to put the ball in the net or a defender how to clear the ball off the line. There's still a lot of human error in there. I do like them. I looked at their squad. I think they're a young squad. They, for me, have got a fantastic player there as well, Don Thomas. I think he's brilliant. And I think the masterstroke this season's signing Rory Payton up the top end. 25, 26 goals last season. And I really think he'll get more chances this season and can maybe even beat 25, 26 goals. I see he's off the mark already. He's got a hat-trick, 4 goals in the Via play. And I think their style of play will suit him. But I'm just not buying into the player data system that they're going to use. But if it works for them, then I'm a dinosaur. I think it's time that they stepped up. I think it's time to not be also-rans. I think Raith Rovers have to prove this season with Ian Murray that they're the real deal. I think they've been in it too long. Go and try, get the playoffs, see where the playoffs take you. The league gives you a chance for the playoffs. It's not a 2-up, 2-down situation that I'm a big fan of. You can just plod away in there. Like Partick Thistle last season, I didn't think they were going to make it. Morton really nearly made it. And then once you're in the playoffs, it's just these games. It's a home and away. And I think this is where Raith need to be. They have to get in there. Get the big boy Jack Hamilton back, Josh Millen. And I really like the big keeper, Dabrowski. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. So he's recruited well. And if they keep everyone fit, they need to get into the top 4 and get to the playoffs. I'm going to go for Dundee United. My reason being, I think they need to start. And by the way, that could be without the manager at the moment. If they're not there, as I said earlier on, end of September, get into October, sit in the top 2, the fans will let the owners know, and I think there could be a change. But if they are, then I think they'll gather momentum, and they'll just absolutely, if they can keep everybody fit, I think they'll beat everybody at home at Tannadice, and they'll pick up points away. So for me, it's Dundee United. Going down, I don't think Dick Campbell will like me. I think they struggled last year. I think they're going to struggle this year for some reason. I just can't see them winning enough games and scoring enough goals. So for me, going down, I'm going to go for Arbroath. And for the playoffs, it's a toss-up. Raith, Ayr United, Queen's Park, Partick Thistle are all going to be there. So I think, again, this season is going to be very tough. And there's never any that can run away with it. I think all teams can beat each other. And by the way, when I say Arbroath, I think it'll be tight, really, really tight. There'll no be sitting away at the bottom themselves. I just think it'll be a tight league. But what I say doesn't matter, because you put the opposite on whatever I'm going to predict. But that's my. I think your also runs are Morton, Dunfermline, Airdrie, Inverness will be mid-table. So champions for me is Dundee United.